Now, start at the bottom, because remember, these bottom ones have to be perfect. We don't want them one to be longer than the other because it will show, because we're not going to do a hem on this. We're going to use the existing hem. So start at the bottom on both ends and then work your way up. So other side, take my other piece, right sides together, start at the bottom. Of course, if you don't do right sides together, you could always seam rip it. I've become a very good seam ripper, unfortunately. And voila, we have a skirt. And we're going to press it before I come back. Okay, so we sewed the two sides together and now I'm going to iron it. I am specifically showing you the ironing because I don't want you to skip it. I know, you hate ironing. I don't like ironing. Nobody does. But if you want your garment to look good, you iron it. Trust me. Okay, now it's time to start on the waistband. So I just want her to have a small waistband. So I'm going to take and measure 3 inches. We're going to fold it in half so it'll give me 1.5 inches. But then you also have some room for seam allowances. I'm going to measure 3 inches all the way down through here. And I'm actually going to need 2. I thought, oh yay, this measured 22 inches. My daughter's waist is 20 inches. I thought that I would have the perfect waistband. No, because it overlaps, so I need more than that. So we have to do this twice. I need 2. Okay, now we have our 2 pieces for our waistband. And I think we're done with this piece here. So I'm going to cut this again. I'm going to cut off the seams. Try and do this somewhat straight on both ends. I'm going to leave off the back pieces because it has a seam in it, and once you start folding seams they get super bulky. So I'm going to leave off these pieces and I'm only going to work with the 2 front panels. If you did not care about the bulkiness, then this obviously would be enough for you to use as one waistband. I'm just going to cut them off and not use the extra bulkiness. Now I have 2 pieces of 3-inch strips and I'm going to sew one side together and then I'll come back. Now I'm going to iron the seam open. Iron, 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 guys. I promise. I know you don't like it, but it will help it look so much better. Alright, we're going to take this edge now and we're going to iron up a little seam allowance, like 1/4 inch all the way down. Just kind of do it with your fingers, try not to burn yourself. This is very important. Do not skip this step. It doesn't have to be perfect. I know I have some friends out here that would be measuring it all the way down. Just make it look as straight as possible. Iron that 1/4 inch all the way down through. And now we're going to take and measure our middle part. So this is our middle, and here, right sides together, that would have been bad. And I'm going to measure the back part of here, which hopefully is 10 inches. And then I'm going to get the little, mark a little line for the halfway point there, and I'm going to put this seam on that halfway point and I'm going to clip it. Okay, I have little clippers, confession, but you can use a pin, you can use a clothespin, you can use a safety pin, anything you want, but this really needs to stay there. Do your best to try and make this stay there, and then you really should pin it all the way down or clip it all the way down. I got these clips on Amazon, and I'm telling you, when you're sewing, it is like you're an octopus because you can hold it all together at once. Definitely worth your purchase. I'm going to sew the waistband to this, right sides together, the folded part down. You'll see how we're going to use that later. Also, these pieces that fold over, I'm leaving them fold over, and I'm going to stitch all the way across this top edge. I'll take you with me to the sewing machine. Okay, now I'm back at the sewing machine, and we're going to stitch this waistband on there. I'm going to start way over here, stitching it on, and once again, I'm using that edge. You can use the 1/2 inch edge, just whatever edge you use, stick with it. I'm going to get my tray here for my clips. Now, I have this nice edge. And guess what? Once again, we're going to go back and iron it. Don't skip this step. Okay, so I'm back at the ironing board. Take this, iron what you just stitched in there, set those seams in. Just real quick, it doesn't take that long, just to iron that all the way down. And then to iron it from this side, this is important. You want it to just look as flat as possible. I'm going to fold this on both sides so that the fold that I just ironed and this fold that I ironed earlier meet up exactly. And then I'm going to stitch right along that line, maybe just past it a little, and then we're going to fold it inside, you'll see, so that it will actually be a nice waistband on this. And guys, we're almost done because we don't have to hem. Alright, so I'm going to take you to the sewing machine and do this part. Make sure those match up. And if this was a line that came straight from here, straight up, you'd want to do it against that line. And again, make sure those two meet up just perfect. And I'm going to stitch a little, go back a little, and then go off the edge for this side, and then do it again on the other side. Okay, we're almost done. Go back and see where you stitched it. Go back, take your scissors and kind of cut it a little bit at an angle both ways. This will just kind of help it to sit in there. And then turn that, see where we stitched it, turn it inside out. I like to kind of use my scissors. Don't poke them too hard though. To make a nice straight edge there, pointy edge. And do that on the other side. Kind of cut it real close to that line, but not too terribly close that you cut any threads. Do not cut threads. And then turn this inside out as well. Now that fold that you pressed in is going to give us a nice finished edge here on the inside. So we folded it over on the corners, and now we have to press it in to give us a nice fold on either side. What we're going to do is take the fold and hide it on the inside and then iron it so that that fold is touching the stitching that you just stitched, and then it should be just about perfect. And now you can sew this on your machine if you think you're going to be super straight, or if you just don't want to do it by hand. The ideal way, the seamstress way, is to do it by hand, taking the little stitches all the way down through. I think I'm just going to sew it on my sewing machine. I'll be right back. Okay, so now I have my cute little skirt done. The back was this, remember, was the front, and this was the back, and now this is the front of a cute little girl's skirt. Now, I'm almost done. I just have to put in the buttons. I'm just going to say center to center, 2 inches down. I'm going to get my trusty soap again and put marks at those 2 inches all the way down. So I'm going to add another 2 buttons. You may not have buttonholes already in like I did on mine. Then you get to just kind of pick how many buttons you want to do. You don't have to measure. but I want to keep my buttonholes looking the same, like it was designed that way. So now I need to find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 buttons out of my button jar. I'll be okay, guys, and now we're all done and we have a super cute skirt. I chose to do a contrasting button. That's another thing that is a super cute way, especially because in my button jar I don't have red buttons. So the black buttons work. Anyway, cute skirt. Visit thebluekeystone.com. Bye, guys. Hold on. Oh, stink. My dress, or my skirt. No, I'm not. Huzzah, if that's a word. Huzzah, I don't know. I don't know what the word to use. Oh, stink. And visit me at the Blue Keystone. The Blue Keystone, okay? Okay, if I can get this figured out in front of the camera. Why can't I do this?